Everyone's doing well tonight. I had to dip out earlier than I wanted to because I had a whole Zoom call about like my last job situation. But before I get into anything, one thing that I really want to ask is that you look at the moon. It is so beautiful tonight. There is this lunar ring around it. It is so gorgeous. And we're getting a full moon in Taurus this week. It's been so lovely watching the moon for the longest time, but right now in this moment, that moon is looking quite glorious. So, yes, hey, cool beans. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I wanted to finish my word vomit from earlier because I definitely came here to talk about the thing about my mom because I feel like the last time we talked about my mom, I think I said that I was not fucking with her ever again because she a demon, and I still believe that. I still believe that, but I feel like just to contextualize her as more than just a demon, she's still not working through being a white passing person. So I think that it's just unsafe for her and I to be communicating because I think I'm gonna always disturb her. With that being said, I noticed that my mom tried to contact me, even though I had blocked her. I still got an alert, and I reached out to her with a text message, um, just to kind of let her know, you know, like uh, like I basically told her that her raising me harmed me, that her not doing any labor to learn about anti-blackness, colorism, like anything like that actually did set me back in life, and that my desire was to tell her that, just to be candid with her. But I also told her that I told my brother that having a white mom was not, it was hard. And I wanted to just kind of let him know, you could right now, you know what I mean, be thinking about a confidence coach, self-esteem therapist, like just things to kind of make sure that their child like knows that they're worthy, special, and if if one white supremacy is confronting them, they're able to know that it's not them, that they're not bad. There's nothing wrong with them. And my brother is not listening to me. But worse, my mom thinks that I'm an asshole. And I'm like, you think that I'm an asshole for wanting to protect my niece who is not, who doesn't look like her mother or her father? Like, you think that I'm bitch. That means you think that as a child, I was an asshole for needing those things and not getting them and still being hurt. Like, I don't think that she realizes just how demonic she is as a person. But personally, I feel like I'm not that invested, to be honest. I feel like I'm at a point where that last conversation just let me know that my mom doesn't hear me when I speak. She is constantly listening to respond. She's not listening to hear. And I think that we've all done that, haven't we? Like, someone said something and there's a problem, and now we don't give a fuck what they're really saying. We're just trying to figure out where we can say something. And I pray that I can just acknowledge when I'm in that space and I can tell the person, if I give a fuck about maintaining the relationship, I'm not in a space to really hear you. I'm only in a space to really respond, not hear. So I'm gonna go take some space and come back, and hopefully that will suffice. But yeah, no, this situation with my mom is so funny because I could tell that she felt bad about being anti-black, but like that's it though. Like, she just felt bad. She didn't really fucking care that she was outwardly being fucking racist as fuck and like saying things that were really fucking not just harsh, but just like things that, like, if you have children of color, you probably should never be on this type of time. And yet my mom literally was just like, I could tell, like, when we talked on the phone, like, she's like, damn, yeah, I was really bugging the fuck out. And it's like, yeah, you were. And like, here's the thing, like, I'm not a fucking, like, I don't feel like there's any species that could handle like just repeated disrespect. Like, it's just not a thing. So I can't compare it to anything other than, my mom has consistently disrespected me. And like, I genuinely think that that's another layer to like why having a white mother is so dangerous because when your mom disrespects you, it's one thing, you know? Your mom disrespecting you is one thing. It's definitely a type of harm, familial harm. When your white mother disrespects you, it's almost like, girl, like in retrospect, I'm just like, damn, she was not taking it seriously that she was stewarding my ass into this world. She was not taking it seriously. She didn't think about not being my bully. She was not thinking about not being a bully to me. She wasn't thinking about all these things. And again, I have some friends in my life that are browner skin, darker skin girls who have light skin moms. And like I don't want to say that we're having the same experience at all. Having a white mom is not the same as having a light skinned mom, but there are definitely overlaps and parallels and shit. And some of the things that I've heard from my darker skinned friends about their light skinned mom and just the ways that she was showing up in their life and just not being as caring and concerned. And again, just like the ways that when I talk to my mom, I just know that bitch do not care. Like, I just know she do not care. Like if I'm telling her a story that's really true, like it's no point. And then I think about why the fuck I have a YouTube channel, and it's like, haha, you know what I mean? It's like there are some of us that like are so communicative. We want to share so many things, and our parents are emotionally unavoided, like or excuse me, emotionally avoidant. And I feel like there's probably a lot of YouTubers who like they have an audience of people that give a fuck about what they say, and like maybe at home that was not real, that like maybe they had so many interests and their family was just burnt the fuck out from work culture. Like that's also another thing because I'm not trying to shame all the parents here. Some of y'all don't got it. Like some of us got a lot of topics. Like that's real as fuck. But yeah, it's just like distressing at times to just think about how when your needs aren't being met in one place, they get met somewhere else. And maybe not even in the way that you really needed. And I say all that to say that my mom and I are still not on speaking terms, but I feel like for a moment I just wanted to like really try again. And I hate that. I hate when like someone disrespects you and you really want to try to make it right. And it's like, bitch, it's not on you. She should be fucking trying to like do everything she can to maintain love in your life. Like, I just have to hold that like my mom don't know how to be my mom, bro. Like, and I have to just hold that like she is not going to be able to love me, bro. Like, it don't matter how long I gave her to figure it out. You know, like I found this video by Patrick Teehan, and he's this psychologist who comes from like a really fucked up family system, and I really appreciate their content because they talk about their own traumatic family and trauma. And they were talking about magical thinking. If you're someone who went through a very traumatic childhood and you had to just like use your imagination to get through it, yeah, you might want to look up that video on magical thinking by Patrick Teehan. I'm telling you, it might be worth your time. But just the ways that you try to like make it seem like it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And I feel like I was just doing that with my mom. Like even though she disrespected the fuck out of me, even though she made me feel so fucking awful, there was still like another piece of me that's like, no, 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 she won't break me this time. No, 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 like, no, she'll hear me this time. And it makes me so sad because it's like my inner child like literally doesn't want to say die. Like that's like the one thing about my inner child. Like my inner child's like, no, like if we believe, if we just believe. And it's like I love that I think that sometimes, but there are times where it's a derailment because it's like, babe, belief is just one part of it. And again, as I have said before, we have left the age of Pisces, bitch. We have left the age of just believing. We got to start learning so we can know. We got to start experiencing so we can know. We got to start listening so we can know. Like, there's so many people's stories out there that when we hear it, it actually gives us so much information to live our lives. And some of us don't think about that. We don't think about how some people have really given us so many flowers to build our gardens. And we might not be leaving them enough to give people some flowers back. So just consider that, friends, that like, we all didn't get here on our own. Some of y'all was scrolling on the internet and caught some shit that really like fucking hit you and really bumped your ass, and now you reading this, you reading that, you watching this, you watching that, you appreciating this or that. all those things are important to remember. Like, please go back. Please go through your YouTube history. I really can't wait for us to watch YouTube videos soon because I got a couple videos that are about to like really hit. Like, there's this one, accelerationism. I talked about that briefly about how a lot of billionaires are trying to ruin the world so they can remake it in their image. And between me and you, uh, I really like, babe, as someone who be thinking deeply, I really do think that this is a deeper psychological operation than we are really thinking about. Only because I truly believe, like Donald Trump, I don't believe that he was really trying to win. Like, that's what's even more sinister, bitch. I don't even think he was trying to win. I think he was just trying to stay out of jail, sweetie. Like, I feel like they told him, look, sweets, like, I feel like the powers that be were like, look, we can't let this bitch go. We gotta do some major shifts. So we need you to act a whole fool, derail her campaign a little bit. I also feel like her campaign got a lot of money. And I really wonder where it all went. Cause it's like, girl, there's no way you got all you paid for every ad. There's no way nobody gave you a free ad. I know they gave her some free ads. I know she got some Democratic coupons, like it had to have. I just cannot imagine that Kamala had no freebies this whole time. And bitch, it's the way white people still got these carrot signs on their lawn. Bitch, they said, okay, we can't wear bracelets. Well, if you see us at our house, it's the way I almost took that chair, and that lady was like, "No, no, you have it." Like, this old woman left the chair outside. I was going to take it, and this lady looked over at it and took a picture of it. And I said, "Oh," I was like, "Are you going to take the chair?" She's like, "I took a picture of it to send to my mom." I was like, "Oh, your mom can have it." She was, "No, no, you take it." She didn't even look at me, bitch. She was just running her house. She looked like she was scared to take the damn chair now. And it's funny as hell because, again, it's like not every white person going to be acting like that. Not at all. Not at all. I don't know, bro. Like, there are people that were voting for Trump that I just couldn't even imagine. Like, there were people popping out being like, yeah, I voted for Trump. Like, some people told me that they voted for Trump, and I was dying laughing because I was just like, that is crazy. Like, I wouldn't even tell people, bitch. Like, I was feeling bad about saying that I didn't vote, but now I'm like, bitch, I low-key feel like that's more. I feel like the people that didn't vote, people got more understanding for us than the Trump voters. And it's funny as hell because, in my honest opinion, if I could be super candid, I don't feel like nobody should be mad at nobody. And I know people not gonna want to hear me. I know people not gonna want to hear me. But I feel like this was a motherfucking psychological operation. This whole shit was set up to it was all set up by Todd to bring Candy to bullshit. I promise you. Like, think about how we fighting now, bitch. You think this shit was just random? Girl, the way they got these algorithms, the way if you even talk about something on YouTube, everything in your recommendeds is what the fuck you was just talking about, sweetie. Let's pay attention. We're mic'd. The mic is hot every day. They know what the fuck to talk about. They know what the fuck to say to us. They know what the fuck to do. At the end of the day, just like there's an algorithm for the bitches that like to scroll and look at pasta, it's an algorithm for the white supremacists. It's an algorithm for the bell hooks girlies. It's an algorithm for the crystal girls. At the end of the day, they did the motherfucking math, bitch. They did. They did the math. They were like, look, we get the country to split. We get all out war on the street. Cause look at it. And we all looking at Latinos, right? And think about it. I just want y'all to think about it because I'm seeing a lot of people talk about deportation right now. I'm seeing a lot of deportation conversation. I want to put it out there right now. One thing I just want to stress to the people that want to call ICE right now. Can you hear my voice? I love you. Please don't do it. Because what you're not realizing is that you about to call ICE, right, on these Latino people, and they're going to have black relatives because, hello, Latinos are not just white. And I know there are a lot of white Latinos. There are, but Latino is not a race. Okay, y'all? And this is why this is all happening, because there's a desire to harm Latino people. What's not being said is people in Haiti are considered part of the Latinidad. That's one thing that's not being uplifted. I know not everywhere, but some people do consider Haiti a Latin island. I don't know why exactly. I don't know the history of that, but I just want to be candid that just the way that Donald Trump said nothing about Puerto Ricans, the way that Donald Trump personally never said anything about Puerto Ricans, but he made sure to say Haitian. Why? Think about it. The desire to invoke Haitians was a desire to say, look at these darker skinned immigrants. Look at these immigrants that I don't like. And again, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of undocumented people in the world that have done something that have bothered somebody, but I'm telling y'all right now, this is not the plan. This is not the plan, because one thing's for sure. One thing that we got to remember, a lot of undocumented people don't have access to vote. So let's be candid. The Latinos that voted were fucking white. Most of them. Like, notice the way that it said white and then Latino, as if Latino is not the same as white, baby. I want you to think about this very, very critically. I just want you to think critically. If the way Latino and white were up there, like they were this, they couldn't intersect, babe. I want you to just think about that. And think about how a country gets that kind of data and why they would use that kind of data. Again, using the term Latino to talk about a vote, saying white, black, and Latino as if there aren't white and black Latinos, baby. I need you to think about this. I just need you to think about this, because I know some people want to call ICE. I know people want to call immigration. I know they want to call migra. Please don't. Please don't call la migra. Please don't do it, because I'm telling you right now, the people that are going to be harmed the most are black people. That's the thing. That's the thing about immigration, bitch. It's not going to harm the Cardi B's and her family. It's not. I'm not saying I want those people to be harmed. I don't want anybody to be harmed. But I want y'all to just consider, like, calling ICE on undocumented people is not the plan. It shouldn't be. But I know that some people are out for blood right now. I get it. I get it. Some people want to cause harm. I get it. I don't want anyone to think that you're wrong for being angry. But I just want folks to consider, like, Latino is not a race. Latino is not a race. Just please remember that. There's a reason why the powers that be want you to know Latinos betrayed you. Please remember that the television can tell lies to your vision. Please remember. Please remember, babies. Everything that we get access to from the government, from the fucking news, from the voting, sweetie, there's a reason why they want us to know it, okay? Think about it. Was they telling us who was voting for this and that president, 20 years ago? No, bitch. And I'm not saying that they could have, but they, baby, child, let me not. All I'm going to say is white supremacy is the cracker. The cracker's not to be played with. The master is masterful. And me and my friend was just talking about that, because I was like, there are so many black folks on YouTube right now making video about how black people are the worst. Like, I have recently seen an uptick in black folks saying that black people in general are just, there's something wrong with black people. And I'm watching this content and I'm intervening and I'm commenting, but it's very much giving, like, shut the fuck up. It's very much like, if I want to talk about my people being trash, I will. And again, who am I? But there are just moments where I can hear so clearly that the master is masterful, bitch. Because there are some black folks that really think that some of this shit is disconnected from white supremacy, and it's not. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of harm happening in community. And again, I'm not trying to make it seem like I know every motherfucking thing. I don't. I've just been listening. And again, there's been an uptick in commentary where people will say, like, I've heard someone recently say, there's some folks that say it's always white people, but I need people to know that it's not always the white people. It's sometimes people of color. And it's like, but what are we trying to say, though? Like, in that moment, it's like, what are you suggesting? And it's frustrating, because the only desire in that moment is just to air out the black community, which is real. It's real to feel like folks don't have your back in this or that way. It is real as fuck. But I do find that there are times where there's a desire to really just drag black folks in-house, as if that's... I don't know. And then again, it's not even just like in-house, because it's invoking, like, it's not just white people. And it's like, well, what's the point of that, What is the point of saying, like, let's ignore the colonizer for a moment? How can we? That's why we're arguing. That's the genesis of the issue is the Caucasian. So again, I'm not trying to say that there's no in-group fighting within different groups of races and shit like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is there have been an uptick in the last couple fucking weeks of people just outwardly saying that like they are a part of the black community, but they are very unhappy. And again, the things that they're naming are things that are a function of are because of white supremacy, not because black folks are innately doing anything wrong. And it's like, damn, like, And again, I want to just hold space for the nuance in this combo because I just feel like there's layers to this. There's many layers to this, and there's many layers to anti-blackness and how it's showing up. And again, because I can't always see anti-blackness, because there's times where I just don't understand what's happening. And this is not me trying to say that there's any one black person who knows all of the anti-blackness unfolding. This is just me trying to offer that when I hear certain stuff, I'd be like taking a pause, like, hold up. Because I never want anyone black to feel like they're wrong for like feeling things. But there are times where I'm just like, on a public platform, you're talking about blackness is from it. But also what's worse is you're trying to make it seem like the problems in community are not just white people, as if like there's a problem, like almost like there's a problem with naming white supremacy because there's bigger fish to fry. And it's like, that is the big fish, I truly believe that decolonizing means that we all shift. But there are some black folks that may genuinely feel like it's beyond that. And I hate that. I hate to hear that, truly. And maybe that's my own shit, that I'm just in a place mentally where I'm just like, I don't want to hear anyone marginalized being like, it's the marginalized people. Because it's almost like where we are in terms of like femmes, like talking online. There's so many femmes talking about picture. I wish we were beyond language personally, because a femme person engaging with patriarchy in a certain way, I get that we want to like name behavior and coin terms, cool. But I also think about what it looks like to be a poor femme, a non-white femme, like to be raised in the church. Like there are so many femmes that don't even realize that they've been kind of set up to be exploited. They're literally a plate of food set on a table to be devoured. And there are some of us that don't see that the only reason why we're not there is because we've been harmed and have had to shift based on shame. Very few younger femmes just know how men are. And I feel like some of us are trying to rush the knowing that comes from unfortunately listening to other femmes and also growing up. I mean, to protect yourself and discern from certain things that make no sense for you. Again, having a lack of love in your life, a lack of support system, having a lack of care, not really knowing a lot of men that are, trustworthy. I think a lot of us can agree that that's most of us, right? And even if you did have support in your family, that's still not a substitute for romantic love. And so some people can come into your life and act really familial towards you, and therefore you start trusting them and you never get the romantic love. You get this sense of camaraderie perhaps, but it's still contingent on you being something for them. Like it's not just y'all are thing. It's very much yeah, patriarchy really is fucking wild. But yeah, I say all that to say, there are so many of us who had to find out that man wasn't trustworthy, or those people were fucked up, or just had to figure out that we shouldn't do this or that we shouldn't talk about this or that we shouldn't allow this or that. And again, like that's what that's why I truly believe like patriarchy operates the way it does, tries to shame women for doing anything, because at some point you're gonna feel shame already. Like it's almost like they try to shame you before anything happens, so you get used to it. That's what I truly believe is the function of patriarchy in terms of shaming women. It's to shame you as soon as anything. Mustache, leg hair, anything. Shame, 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 shame. And then by the time they get you alone, you're just hoping that they treat you kindly. You're just hoping that they treat you with love and support. You're just hoping that they turn out to be a prince like all these men created in these shows. And when they're not, or worse, when they're a prince sometimes and a demon others, it can start to feel like, damn, I just didn't do this right. I just didn't do that right. Just all the ways that like our world really does formulate the perfect motherfucking battleground for all types of bullshit to unfold. And then we be looking at other films like, you care about men too much, not even holding that. We live in a world that literally hates women. And so, again, like, that's why I say not too much on black folks that be talking shit about other black folks. Cause it's like, as much as I be like, damn, no, there's moments where it's like I see femmes hate other femmes. And it's not like another femme did nothing to that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that like we've never had a bestie play us. What I'm trying to offer though is like sometimes we look at a femme person treating us poorly as way worse than any man. And again, I think about that myself with my mom. It's like I feel like I really tried to love her even though she was harming me because I'm like, bro, I only got you, bitch. Like, I'm like, my dad not around. I literally only have you. And it's just the way that it's the way that we look at femmes and we're like, can't you see that that man has abandoned me? Be more. And I feel like that's bullshit. Like, as much as it hurts me to say it, my mom doesn't owe me more love because my dad didn't give me enough. She definitely should have done more for sure. But there's just ways where it's like, it's like I really want to like yell at her for everything, but only so much is on her, man. And I feel like I have to remember that whenever I get mad at femme people, is like how much was really on her, you know? How much was really down to her? How much agency did she have? How much support did she have? Like I'm trying to remember that because there's times where I get mad at a femme person and it's like, man, they did their fucking best. You know what I mean? Like they really did their best, and it's the way that femmes will really hold on to some shit for years and years and years. Like somebody will do you so dirt, and you'll really be like, damn, I could have did better. And it's like, girl, let it go. Fuck them. It's the way that you really could have, not done better. And that's actually okay. It's the way that you didn't owe nobody shit. It's the way that it's okay that you didn't know what the fuck to do. And it's the way that we live in a world that will really look at, especially black folks, and just be like, y'all should know what to do. And I feel like that's a whole nother layer to this Kamala lose shit. Is like Kamala sitting on the floor playing Connect Four. It's just the way that even her losing, you could tell she not black. Like, no tea! Because it's like, girl, you sit on the floor playing Connect Four. Like, sweets. Like, you like, girl, nothing? You have nothing. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a part of me that's like, maybe she moving in silence. Maybe she doing an investigation. I don't give a fuck, truly. If I'm being super clear with you, I don't give a fuck. But I just feel like the way she lost was annoying to me. It was just very much not you pandered like you was black this whole time. And on the outro, we couldn't get at least a stomp by Kirk Franklin. Like, I'm just like, where are the black celebs you paid? You didn't pay nobody for the outro? I'm crying. She said, look, we only have money in the budget for Beyonce. Barack, he wanted more than we thought. Like, my God. But honestly, though, can we talk about, like, how the Dems really been moving? How the fuck did we go from Barack to motherfucking Biden, bitch? It's giving nobody wants to do it. It's really giving nobody really wants to do it. Nobody really wants to do this ugly ass job. Yuck. Can you imagine having to sleep in the White House? I'm so sorry. Like, I be thinking about that sometimes. Like, when the Obamas was living there, I'm like, I know y'all got an Airbnb. There ain't no way y'all was staying there all day. Fuck out of here. It's too many colonial ghosts for me, bitch. Like, I couldn't even imagine it. That shit sounds crazy as hell. Yuck. I'm sorry, bitch. I'm sorry. I just cannot even imagine like all that funky funk smell, bitch. The linens. Yeah, no, because they're not washing that shit good. They can't. It was made in 19 or whatever the fuck, bitch. The 13 original colonies, bitch. You remember what I said? Bitch? I don't know, bitch. I remember reading that fucking some of George Washington's teeth was made out of wood. And then I found out the real story that they took black people's teeth and gave him black people's teeth. My God, bitch. It's the way that this country can't even tell you a fact, bitch. Like they'll just make up some shit. They'll really make up like who said would? Who told that lie? I just wish we could know. I just wish they would have made hoes use a screen name in history, bitch, so we could know who it was. You know what I mean? Like, was it Hamilton 890? You know what I mean? Like, was it Reagan 36? Like, who was it, bitch? Who said that shit for the history books? Cause they really said Wood with a good chest. But here's my thing. Y'all said that he had wooden teeth. How did that go? How did y'all jump from enslaved African to wood? You know what I mean? It's just like this country is so insane. They'll say anything, bitch. And they'll really say any motherfucking thing. And then have the nerve to be like, yeah, and you know, black people are dumb. Like, girl! Like that's the thing for me is like just the ways that it's the ways that there are white people really in school talking about look at this skull like just man I know and you know what bitch and it's about this time I'm telling you bitch it's the way and I hate to even say this shit to y'all because I'm not trying to fearmonger but it's the way that on some motherfucking V for Vendetta on some V for Vendetta, bitch. Like, I really feel like it's some white people about to get some Guy Fawkes masks, bitch. I'm not trying to make it too dramatic, but it's just the way. Woo, bitch. It's the way that this shit feels so. My God. Yeah. I'm gonna smoke one more and I'm gonna dip. But I think I want to tell y'all a little bit about the hearing that I had. I think I told y'all like I lost my job because I mean I don't even know how to even talk about it at this point because bitch I done sat with it long enough. I done smoked on it long enough. I actually see some more. I see it crazier than it actually was. Like they literally had an evaluation coming up for me where they could have told me how I was fucking up, right? How much, you know, they was mad about this or that. But instead they kept postponing it. And now I'm realizing in retrospect that they never wanted to give me a motherfucking evaluation. They was planning on hazing me to get me to do something violent and then quit like or fire me. But I feel like they wanted to fire me, but they didn't want to do it and have to pay me no money. You feel me, bitch? So they really did lie on me and like really was just like, bitch, even when I quit and gave them my shit and was like, you know, this is, you know, here's your key, here's your badge, I'm dipping, I'm gone, you know, see ya. They still lied on me. Like they still went out their way to lie on me. And I told them everything at the hearing. I was like, yes. I was like, they knew I was homeless the whole time. They're like, I had a photograph. I had an ID. I was like, I had a picture of my ID that was stolen in 2017 that I used to get up in here. I was like, I just want to be candid. I was like, they're a private contractor. They are being evil. Well, I didn't say evil, but I was like, they're just very much moving in a way that's anti-black, anti-woman. They're being strange. They're being unkind. Like I was just trying to offer as much as I could because one other thing that I remember that I feel like I've said before was that my boss, Carly, she really has nobody above her. Like she is the last word. And so it felt like in retrospect, she had told Laura to basically get rid of me by the time she got back from her Pink concert. And so when I called her after the Pink concert and she was acting like, oh, well, I heard you just walked out. It's like, girl, well, who cares? Why didn't you call me? Like, you heard I was abused. You heard I was verbally assaulted. Like, I was like, how the fuck did you hear that I just walked out, but you didn't call me? I'm on your staff. I have an evaluation for my 45-day review. Why am I not being called? Like, girl, it's giving you were trying to fire me. Like, let's come on, sweetie. Like, just the insults my intelligence, honestly, at the end. But I let these white bitches know because I could tell that they were talking about some talking to a civil rights leaders and shit. I was like, girl, it's not that deep. Like, please don't do it like that. I'm like, don't make it seem like y'all need to call Al Franken or no, excuse me, not Al Franken, excuse me. Girl, forgive me, girl. Al Sharpton. I don't know who the fuck. I don't know what the fuck kind of spice that was, but I was like, I don't want it. Wait, didn't he pass away, bitch? Rest in peace. My bad. But I was like, I don't call nobody, bitch. Don't call no black person for this. I was like, I just want you to know that I got fired. And then that's another thing too. Like Candace had just had their 45-day review, meaning that they were deciding to keep her, meaning when they fired her, it was as a retaliation for being my friend. And so there were lots of layers to me, my report. I was on the phone with those white bitches for an hour. They were trying to hang up bad as hell. Because at first I was telling them, I was like, is there anybody black that works here? Because I don't want to tell y'all this story and waste either of our time. Because there's some stuff that I'm not sure you're going to connect. And I'm trying to just let them know, like, you know, white supremacy doesn't really allow y'all to have the nuance that I need right now. And I'm like, I'm going to tell y'all the story, but I asked if there could be someone black taking notes or at least being here with you, because I want to make sure that there's not just justice for me, but also for the black woman who was discarded on Halloween after being fired on her day off through voicemail. I was like, there needs to just be so much more. And they were like trying to figure out if I was trying to get my job back. I was like, girl, no. I was like, girl. Like, they was really worried about the wrong thing, bitch. That shit made me so sad. Like, sweetie, what about this is giving I want to work with y'all? I was like, at one point, I was like, I called the police and they put me on the phone with you. What do that mean? When the police told me to talk to you. I was like, the police told me this is an HR issue. I was like, girl, you see how much power they got? They can literally get the police off them. Come on. I need y'all to pick it up. So I'm kind of slightly worried because you know when white bitches get a motherfucking, you know when white bitches take a bite out of crime, they not playing sometimes. I don't want to hype them too much, but I don't want to be acting like they wasn't really sitting there for that hour, bitch, and really holding space. Like, I don't want to act like I didn't hear them. I also want to act like they weren't present. There were definitely moments where they said things that let me know they were present as fuck. And so I'm hoping things shift. But there were just so many moments where I was like crying, bitch, because I was just like, yo, I was like, I had forgot some of the shit that had happened. Whew, and telling these white women this shit, especially after this election, my God. I could just tell, like, they're like, damn, you know, like she was like, this, like, one of them was like, this was so much. And I was like, yeah, bitch, it got to the point where I even named a patient's name and I asked them to reach out to a patient to confirm something that happened that was actually quite unethical. And again, me and Candace talked right after, and me and Candace are just remembering how, like, there were times where our boss would be excited. Like, bitch, this is like trigger warning for like some upsetting ass shit to hear. But this fucking dingy ass bitch, our fucking manager, she will be literally being mean to people who was just trying to get a fucking night at a hotel, at the hospital, to be closer to loved ones. She will be in the text threads at the job being snarky and mean. And it's like, this person has a tumor, bitch. They're trying to get into the hospital to get a procedure. They need a place to stay. What about this is funny? And I'm telling you, she really hated my guts because I was like, there's not always shit to laugh about. Like, sometimes, like, laughing actually very inappropriate. And I feel like she just didn't like the fact that I was younger, but I had something to offer. And I feel like that's another layer to this conversation, is that I need folks to realize, like, we're so close to children's rights. We're so close to a children mob. Like, I just need y'all to know, like, we're so close. Like, I need y'all to know that TikTok is not just like the funnest app. Like, the kids are organizing, bitch, and they're going to and I'm so proud of them, because honestly, bitch, some of these kids are going to pop the fuck out. I'm telling you. And I'm excited for it. I'm so excited for it, because a rise of Trump means probably a lack of CPS oversight, which there already has been. But I'm sure at this point it's going to get very overwhelming. A lot of people don't want their kids now. A lot of people don't want their kids. They're giving their children up, putting their kids in foster care and just going, bitch. A lot of people are doing that. It's sad to say, but it's true. It's sad. I stumbled on a part of the internet where there are mothers who are like, I don't have it. I just called the state myself. I'm like, mama. So it's going to come. And you know what's sad? I don't know what's coming first. The child revolution or the companies deciding children are adults too. Children labor is our labor. Like I'm waiting for that slogan to hit for the MAGAs, bitch. All children's labor are our labor. I'm waiting. Cause this is one of those motherfucking situations where it's like they about to really see how low it can go. But then again, bitch, you know what'll be really funny if this Trump shit really do force everybody to run up on the fucking White House. Now that'll be funny. If they thought June 6th was something, wait till bitches get up there with pots and pans. That's all I gotta say. Cause I got a motherfucking rice pot that's light as fuck, but let me clock you with that bitch. Mm-mm-mm. And it got a good lid on it too. I could really do some damage on the bitch. I'm telling you right now. Let these motherfuckers think it's sweet. Mm. Hey, bitch, watch me get demonetized. Watch me get fucking demonetized, bitch. Honestly, just for saying I'm running up with a pot and pan. Meanwhile, everybody that was at June 6th, I refuse to believe they all got. And bitch, I won't be surprised either when I find out they're free and they're the new motherfucking they're the new military ballet of the president. I will not be surprised if he empowers those people out of prison. I deadass will not be fucking surprised. But yeah, I really just feel super distressed about life, but also kind of excited because, again, like I said, there's going to be a child revolution. I pray it comes before the companies try to steal children's labor. I pray, but who knows, bitch? Because just the way that the internet going and the kid child influencer pipeline, who knows? Who really knows? But we're going to be seeing the motherfucking rollout of that. And again, we're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the age of I know. Think about what the children are learning about our society. Like, that's one reason why some of us are so fucking depressed, because as children, we kind of learned, like, from our parents, like, what we're looking forward to. And some of us saw some really crazy shit. Like, some of us saw mamas that, it seemed like all they had was their smoke, their drink, and their TV. And I hear you. I was one of those kids too. I promise you. Like, all I seen my mom do was lay in her bed, smoke, and be sad and be depressed. Like, that's why I think so many of us are mirroring that shit. Because that's how you do. When you get old, you gotta lay your ass in your bed, and that's all the fuck we have time for, and all we got money for is to lay in that fucking bed, smoke, and be sad and watch our show. That shit sucks. But I'm also trying to take intelligence from our mothers, Like, I know they were doing a lot of shit out of survival, but how do we thrive in that, How do we find a way to thrive? I really be wondering that. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I know me and Dane gotta live here for a year, but I don't know what the fuck that's about to look like. Then again, there's a part of me that wonders, like, what does it look like to do something on this block? Like, I live on one of those streets where it's like people really be outside talking and shit. Like, I live on a street where neighbors really be saying shit to each other. And I really wonder, like, what's going to happen next? Like, if we keep talking to each other. Because I'm being so for real, bitch. I want a chicken coop. Fuck everything. Ever since I found out they froze the eggs, bitch, I know it's probably seeming dramatic, but I'm just like, bro, like, you ever think about how much old food we be eating, bitch? I'm actually just getting angry. Like, woo, bitch, please. Like, just hear me. Like, if you buy some green onion, put that shit in a fucking jar. Like, get a tomato jar. Like, don't throw away your pasta sauce jars, bitch, please. Don't throw them away. You can literally use them as vases. You can grow green onions out of them, and you can cut the green onions with a motherfucking a scissor. And I'm telling you, this shit is so cute. Like, I have so many green onions right now, bitch. It's literally getting kind of crazy. I actually gotta share some with the community. Like, I'm actually about to hit up some folk and say, who needs some green onions? You feel me? Cause it might be overcrowded actually in my jar right now. So I'm gonna have to focus on that. But bitch, I'm trying to think about being a micro farmer dead ass cause it's just so much going on, bitch. And like we really need food, bro. Like I just feel like it's like I don't want to say I hate America because I really love that we live somewhere where we can really be like fuck this place for the most part and dream of other things we could do here. I love that about this place in ways, but I'm also just so aware of all the limitations on us. Ugh, and just the fear that we're supposed to be walking into and just mm, just trying to raise that motherfucking love energy, bitch. Like not trying to be on some woo woo shit, but for real though. Bitch, it's the way like they're like I don't know if anybody else has gone to the grocery store since the election, but it's the way so many black women are talking to me, like are like actively like communicating, trying to make connection, and it's like, dang, like they're not playing. Like they're not playing. They said we're not dealing with the whites. I have never felt more communicated with. I'm not saying black folks don't be talking to me. I'm not doing that. But I'm saying like the quality of communication at the grocery store has really uplifted. Like it's deeper. And it's like, damn, like, is this where it's gonna begin? Like, are we gonna have to find each other at Walmart's? My God, in the mire, in the motherfucking. I'm just saying, I don't know about y'all, but I have just seen so many black women, like most recently, just be extremely emphatic about the fact that they're looking for connections, that they're open to friendships, that they want to connect. And I'm like, oh my God. And then again, like the groups are going crazy too. So many groups that I've seen like just open up. And again, I'm not putting myself in these black spaces. I'm naming that they're existing. But there are so many black women being like, black women, where are we going? Like I've seen so many black women being like, what country we going to, bitch? And I'm just like, okay. Like it's the way black women were like, we're leaving. And I'm like, I'm happy for y'all, but I'm also like, ah! Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm shook, and I'm shook because it's like, I can't even articulate, bitch. Like black women deciding to mass exodus the United States. Like I'm happy, but I'm also like, what's that gonna look like? Like if I'm being super candid, like what is that going to look like? Like what is the world gonna look like? I really wonder. Man, it's wild to think about how most people in America, outside of white people, did not choose to come here. But yet, woo, the way that they never found any historical love or care for people that actually grew it. It's like when you think about chattel slavery, they literally stole so much from black and brown people, but mostly black people. The indigenous people, some of them are still existing on their lands. Not saying there's no, like, I just feel like when you're indigenous, like, they can't take you out completely. I'm not saying they didn't try, but it's the way that there are black people who, like, feel like this is not home, and it shouldn't feel like home in ways, sure. But the ways that, like, this is really not home, and there are so many black women being like, where is home? And the way that I see so many black women going to their home countries and ancestral countries, and I'm happy, but I wonder, like, what does that look like? What does that look like, Because there's so many more that are stuck here. Like for every black woman that can trace her roots, like there's so many more who are stuck. And so I feel like every conversation about what's happening right now in the United States is so fractured because look, like I said, there's people calling ICE. There's people calling ICE, bitch. And there's people like, I'm going to get on a plane. There's people just thinking of these individualistic measures that will make them temporarily feel better, which is fine. Nobody black owes anyone anything. What I'm just trying to offer is what is the after of that? You go to a new country and then, it's like the idea that like escaping means really living. When if you have to escape, when will you have to escape again? That's all I think. This is again not me trying to make people think that they got to fight for this shit because again, I personally don't even know what we'd be fighting for. To be super candid, like there's a part of me that's like not on some accelerationist shit. I don't want the world to burn down. In theory, I do believe that there should be a shift around mental health and harm reduction so that we can start to see each other as opportunities for connection and not as automatically this or that identity so we'll never be able to talk to each other. That sucks. But again, how do we get to that place? What does it look like to be in right relationship with the colonizer? Like these are things white people still like it's like for all the white people that be thinking they're philosophers, deep thinkers, deep readers, it's like how do y'all not sit and think about that? Like that is what's wild to me. Like, how do you not sit and think about subjugation throughout the motherfucking throughout centuries, bitch, millennia? How? I don't know, bitch. I was very close to buying a fucking Bell Hooks card for myself, but then I was like, Bell Hooks wouldn't want me to buy nothing. I was like, Bell Hooks would not want me to buy this fucking card with her face on it. But it had a really good quote in it. And it was saying that like love takes action and vulnerability, honesty, respect, support, joy. And I'm like, bitch, you better go off, Bell. You better say that shit. But I also want to hold that like when light skinned people, like when we start talking about fucking love and being kind to people really listen way more. I want to be super candid that like people really be thinking something really magical and mystical is happening when light skinned people be talking. And that's why I brought up Janae Aiko earlier, because I do think that there's ways that people want to see Janae Aiko as like, you know, she's the one that's been hurt by Big Sean because he won't marry her. When let's be real, they both have autonomy. If he's not ready to marry her, that's actually okay. And I'd rather him be honest and just be real and say that he's not ready because that's what it sounds like. But instead, he wants to make it seem like there's work that needs to be done, which unfortunately does communicate to the rest of us that he's not ready. And he may also think that she's not ready because that's what I heard is that they're both not ready. And from what she's saying, she ready. From how she moving, she ready. But again, we don't know these people. We don't know their relationship. But even still, the ways that I immediately was like, fuck Big Sean, he's shady. And it's like, you know, he could be shady. But I also think I feel like on the flip side, if a woman was asked, you know, why aren't y'all married? After she had a man baby, and he's like, it's more shit that got to be worked on. I feel like bitches would be like, hey. Like that's the thing about it. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that it's fascinating that like when a woman says, I'm not ready to marry him, we hear her. But when a man says, I'm not ready to marry her, we automatically may think like, oh, he ain't shit. But it's like, is he not shit? Or does he know that he's not there? And honestly, if Big Sean not there with Janae, I think that there's also layers to that combo about colorism. And I don't want to overstep, but there's just moments where people really do think, and again, this is based on from things that I've heard. This is not based on my lived experience, but I've heard people say things about lighter skinned women, especially in media, that let me know that there's a large threshold for what people can say or do for us light skinned people where it don't matter. It's not a turnoff. And so there's a part of me that feels like, from what I've been hearing, you know, people would want to be with Janae. So there's almost this vibe of like, you're dumb if you don't want to be with her. And it's frustrating because, you know, there's all types of reasons for people to not be ready to marry someone. And it's frustrating that when someone's privileged, people are like, you're stupid to the less privileged person. And I feel like we could argue that Big Sean is less privileged than Janae Aiko in certain ways and is more privileged in others. But I think that that's also part of this, that like how he sees himself in the world versus how she sees herself versus how they see each other together. He felt comfortable putting it out there that there's more work in their relationship needing to be done before they say, I want to be in your life forever. I want you in my life forever. Unfortunately, they already have a child. So you've already had conversations around things a little bit more deeper than if you're going to be together forever. I personally believe having a child is way more commitment than being married. Personally. People can disagree with that, but I believe saying I'm willing to steward a life into this world with you, that seems to me a little bit more intense. And so for him to say that there's not enough work to be together, I feel like that could be read many ways. That like maybe they're great parents, but they're not good at being partners. That maybe like being partners means that like marriage might be a little bit too stifling. Like maybe they do need to be able to go on dates with other people to come back to each other. Who fucking knows? But again, the ways that like you could easily read into a man's words and be like he doesn't value her, and it's like maybe he don't, maybe he really don't value her, maybe he don't. But also him having a child with her and not feeling safe to be married to her, that's a whole nother conversation. Because if you think about it, a lot of people come from relationship or come from households where their mom never got married to that man. And lowest of keys, as someone that came from one of those households, if my mom and dad ever got married, oh, thank God. Oh my God, bitch. This the way my dad would have us in some sort of scam, bitch. Mm-mm-mm. My dad is one of those immigrants who really want to be rich. He want to be rich so fucking bad. Ooh, and it's so hard to watch him because he'll do anything to appear rich, even though he is very poor. But my dad changed his name to Mark Anthony. Now, keep in mind, my father's name is Mark Anthony Brissett, but he is now actively telling people his name is Mark Anthony, as if he is a two-named man. He is not, but he has reinvented himself for white supremacy. Okay? And he has a very fake Caucasian accent that he likes to use as Mark Anthony. And again, growing up with a white mama and a dad that wanted to be Caucasian, that was a lot. Not realizing how much my father wanted to be a white man really did fuck me up too. And I feel like that's something that, I wish I could have said to my brother, but he already mad at me that I said what I said about my niece needing more support than them. And I hate that. I hate that I come from a family where people are offering advice and motherfuckers be so mad. It's like, damn. Like, imagine you can't even tell your family, like, it's a bump in the road coming. Without them thinking that you want them to fall into the bump. Like, I swear my family very much, like, paranoid, but also vindictive as fuck. And I really, really, really... I'm so fucking grateful. I'm just so grateful, bitch, that my universe, my spiritual team was like, yeah, we gotta get her up out of there. Like, I'm so grateful, bitch. Woo! Good God, bitch. It's just the way my life don't look nothing like the rest of my siblings at all. It's the way my Aries brother was very much protected, even though we weren't protected as a whole. He had way more protection, or so he thought, because he was around white people. And I think about that, him growing up in the woods with all them white people. My God. And then when he got up out of there and came to go be around my mom, he was just acting like he was gangster, and he was not gangster. He just never was that. He had Aries, He got warrior energy, but he a baby. He got a lot of spark and a lot of fire, but he ain't need to be out there. And it's just the ways that my mom don't see it. My mom was so busy trying to be black that she missed out on trying to tell her kids about why the fuck. Like, even just the delusion of my white passing mother to like really think that she had it. She could just do it. It's so insane. And it's like as much as I wanted as a young person, because again, I'm bringing this up because I remember I seen Lotto recently, the rapper. I don't listen to her music, not because I, not because I ever even really heard it, bitch, but I'm gonna be real. There's something Mars Attack about the girl. I said Mars Attack about it. And as I said, when she first was rolling out, she had that video on TikTok where her and this deep dark skinned girly who was supposedly her best friend, but the entire time she's just making fun of her and calling her an orangutan. And so from that, I just knew I had already listened to enough deep dark skinned people to know she was a op. I was like, oh no. I was like, I will not be listening to her music. And again, someone who is mixed calling themselves mulatto as like a term of endearment, that is a red flag. Just so y'all know, any mixed people calling themselves some mixed name, like it's a red flag. It is. But with that being said, um, she recently brought her mom out. And again, it had me sitting with my own behavior because I have a white passing mom. And so I remember there were times where I definitely would be around folk or people would talk or people would just, and I'd be trying to justify how my mom is not white. Like I'll really be fighting for my life for my mom to at least be mixed in the room. And it's like, that's not my fight. And the way Lotto trying to act like her mom a cool bitch and not a Karen. And it's like, who cares? Like, I remember telling somebody, I was like, think about how if you meet a man or a man and you think is a good man, you wouldn't expect all of us to believe you, right? And I know some of y'all, God forbid, you ain't gotta tell me, may feel like that. You may have a moment where you're realizing, like, damn, I might have made somebody or try to make somebody think this is a good dude, and like that's not on me to do. Again, like it's not on anybody of color to be trying to make it seem like this white person is cool. But with that being said, like I feel like I have to talk about being there and trying to make it seem like everybody could be around everybody, and it's not true. Like it's a lot of times where white people are being anti-black. And if I'm not a black person, how can I know? How can I be protective? Like it's very much a thing that I'm like sitting with actively because again, like just assuming that folks, will be okay because I'm okay with this person or this person isn't treating me bad. I have to sit with how, there are times where I was trusting a white person who was also trusting a white person that they would be good to me, even though they had no reference for that person ever being around anyone non-white and treating them kindly. And so I'm just thinking about how like we don't always have the information to be around certain people, let alone be bringing them around other people and putting other people in jeopardy because we want to be around this person so damn bad. And so when Lotto brought out her mom, it's like, who are you doing this for? Like, did your mom ask you to like make sure that people know that she got a stupid ghetto booty and she want to be wifed up too? Like, is that the point? I just be wondering sometimes. Because I know I'm not the only person with a white passing or a white mom. Because I feel like at this point, I've just decided to start calling her white. Because I feel like saying white passing low key be giving people a little bit of room to believe this person could be a good one. And I just feel like we should stop doing that personally as people of color, especially as people of color with a white parent. We should really not be flattening language to include them. Because notice, we live in a country where they said Latinos harm the country. Now look at the darker skin folk who could speak Spanish stopping speaking Spanish now. Look at the darker skinned folk talking about some, I'm black. You feel me? I just see things going a little differently than folks may want them to. Folks may want to deport all the Latinos. You're not going to do it. It's not going to work. On top of that, it's the way that people really assume Latino people only make up the labor force in terms of cleaning. There are so many Latino people in the medical field, and whether or not they are documented, don't matter. When your granny got cancer, do it, bitch. Like, I just need y'all to know this is a plan to make the country worse and then make it seem like Donald Trump is fixing it because now y'all all got motherfucking tags on y'all asses. I'm telling you, bitch, this is a motherfucking high level con. And I really hope people see it for what it is because getting out a large part of the medical force in this time of life will be a huge mistake. And yet, we're looking at it. We're about to see it. Again, this country don't really care about documentation. I've noticed that as an undocumented person for like the last almost 10 years. Like, documentation don't matter too much to this country. I'm gonna be so fucking for real. You don't need a lot of documentation to do a lot. You need documentation for some stuff for sure, don't get me wrong. But documentation don't mean a lot. in this country. It's very frustrating. I'm not trying to be diminishing and say that it never matters. What I'm trying to offer is you can still do a lot in this country without an ID. That's all I'm trying to offer. And so because of that, I do wonder how things are going to shift in this country around photo IDs and like proving identity and stuff. Like I wonder how more restrictive it's going to get for people that are, actually from here, because I feel like that's the point of these things. They're never to harm the people that can leave. It's to make sure that the people that are staying have consequences. So, mm, and when I say stay, I mean trapped, because let's be real, bitch. It's the way people been going in and out this country for years, and now they all talking about leaving. And I'm not just talking about black folk. I'm talking about in general. A lot of people talking about leaving, and it's like, man, where do y'all think y'all can go? I really wonder. And I hate that. I hate that I don't know where we could go. I hate that for us. I know some folks that think, across the border and we'll be Gucci. I love that for them. But the thing about this kind of motherfucking treason that's happening on this soil, bitch, that's been unfolding, let's be candid. This is not going to stop because people leave. And this is not me trying to encourage anybody black to stay and fight. Hell no. If anybody black thinks there's a place to go to be comfortable and happy, I pray you enjoy, and I pray you bring as many people as you can with you within reason to your finances. I pray you don't overload yourself trying to save everybody. I pray you save who you can, but more importantly, you take care of yourself. But with that being said, for the rest of us, bitch, for the motherfuckers that can't leave, ho, I really think it's about time we start talking about the potlucks and the free bins and the communal living spaces. Like we really got to start getting that conversation to be a more normal thing. To ask your neighbors, what are you doing for dinner? Do you want to start trying to figure something out on Fridays? Do you want to start figuring out meal prep on Sundays? Like I really genuinely do think that we're at a point where we have to just start really talking to each other. And again, I'm not telling anybody who is black to do more than they can, because I just would not advise that. Please respect yourself and rest as much as humanly possible. But also for the rest of us out here, for the non-black folk, like we really need to start talking about what it looks like to be supporting the black folk that are going to be stuck. Because again, like there are so many folks who clearly have money and they see the way out, and I'm happy for them. I'm really not a hater. Never been that. But I do want to be realistic that not everybody can get on a plane and go to another country, bitch, and be thought of as exotic and be thought of as a cool person to add to the economy. Not everybody gonna be that. And so I just pray that we start having conversations that include all of us and what the fuck liberation could look like for all of us. Because I truly believe that for the folks that can get on a plane and go, I pray that wherever they go is not just waiting to do this, what we're having to do here. Because even black folks saying that they're leaving is still not considering that leaving is only one option out of so few. And leaving does not mean you're going to have a better life. Unfortunately, I have a friend that was telling me that, like, black girls are being treated really well in the United Kingdom. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. She's like, for real. And again, who knows what that's looking like? I'm not trying to play her. I'm just saying that there's a rumor being spread that the United Kingdom is a good place for black women to go, that black girls are being like treated super good out there. But if I'm being super candid, I really feel like we're in the midst of a great shift where there's just a lot of fucking mixed people fucking. Like, I really truly believe that there are so many more people who believe that that's the answer. I hate to tell y'all that, but that's what my research is deducing at this point. Is there are a lot of people who think if we just fuck each other, we just gonna all turn gray. We just gonna all turn beige. Just like the last time I was here, somebody talking about some we all shades of wheat. We're not, but that's the desire. I truly think there's desires to make sure that everybody is one skin tone so they can just start, really hating on people based on, something else. Like, I really truly think that racism, anti-blackness is about to shift into focusing on pigmentocracy. Not saying that anti-blackness won't still exist, but it will exist in this other way, if that makes sense. And I know some people already see it. Pigmentocracy has been happening. There's already been a shift to focusing on lighter skinned people for a while, focusing on white passing people and being so fascinated with them, wondering how they can be white and black. Like, it's so fucking hilarious. Because again, like, white people created a system that doesn't really exist. But they use their own metrics for deducing on who is who. Child. All I gotta say is we are living in a silly time. It is not anyone's fault that we're here. White supremacy is literally a it's a tool of patriarchy, truly. It's a tool of fucking white male heteronormative patriarchy. There's a huge desire to make sure that white women keep on creating them. Let's be real. White men want white women creating them. And there are a lot of mixed couples. A lot of mixed people. And I truly believe, like, some people may think that racial mixing is not political, but it is. There's layers to it. Like, dating white people has been a wild, wild journey because, again, I didn't know what I knew 10 years ago today. Did I? No. Like, had I known that, like, that white man who was 6 or 7 years older than me was actually using the fact that he couldn't find a woman in his age, like, he couldn't find a woman his age to love him. In the end, the woman that ended up loving him, she wanted a baby. That's not me trying to be shady. That's me just trying to be candid. That, like, he wanted a woman to play a part. He wanted a woman to play a role. That's some of these men out here, y'all. And I'm telling you, as your big sib, as your sibling who has seen a lot of shit, there are some men at this point in their final chapter, they're like, fuck it, I'll be a dad. It's sad, but it's true. They don't think that they have anything else to do in life. They've already found the job to make the money. And now they want a woman to play mom for him and the baby. I had to come to figure that out, but there's some men that really want you to have a baby so that you can be his mommy too. I've seen some wild shit. I've seen some women, like, just doing the most to mother 2 men. Or 2 babies, rather. And just the ways that, again, even if your mom didn't treat you the best, and it's not me trying to make a case for the bitch. It's just me trying to offer that we give our moms, I think, so many chances because we're like, we see what she was up against, especially if you're a femme. You're like, damn, my mom was, she was trying to make it through this. Also, I had a friend recently reach out to me about how sex work is not hitting no more. And I felt for her because she's like, bitch, one thing I wasn't thinking about was that she's dark-skinned femme. And the motherfuckers be wanting deep dark-skinned femmes to be doing everything. I just want to offer that I am looking for a deep dark-skinned femme sex worker to have on my team to fucks with because, baby, it's the way that folks be asking about sex work. And it's like, I don't want to give you the wrong advice, friends. Like, I really don't. I don't want to hate her or be that girly that you can't trust for real. But if I'm being super candid, like, there are a lot of deep dark-skinned femmes in sex work space. And so a lot of them have said recently that there is a desire to get deep dark skinned femmes to operate a certain type of way in sex work space so that um these men can, like, exploit their labor in a particular way. And what I mean about by that is there are times where there are white men who are wanting to degrade women, and there's like I want to say like maybe episode like 3 of Harlots, maybe, or 2 for season 1, episode 2 or 3. There's like a guy that be coming to one of the hoe houses, and his main thing that he do is he beat the shit out of a girly. Like that gets him off, like that turns him on. And just the ways that, like, that isn't gone. Like in our society, there are men that, like, the only way to, like, achieve sexual gratification is to harm a woman. And I think it's more common than not, especially when it comes to psychological abuse. Like I've seen some men be so mean, and it's like, what was the point of this? Like, I'm a stranger. Like, how what did you get out of this interaction? And I'm left with the reality that, like, they just wanted to be unpleasant to a femme person. That, like, if they talk to a man like this, they might get their ass beat. But if they talk to me crazy, I might do some emotional labor. You feel me? And I've done that before where I've, like, heard a man say a couple crazy things, and I'm like, you want to talk about it? Next thing I know, they start crying, feeling bad as hell that they were being so mean to me, because now they realize I could be their mom, maybe. Like, it's a really wild ride to be, a femme person online, because you'll notice, like, a lot of men who they don't have anything other than degrading you. That's all they have. And if they can't degrade you, well, bitch, what do they got left? And it's sick, but it's true. Like, there are so many men who, like, will really not be able to be your friend, your, confidant, your acquaintance, nothing, because as far as he's concerned, you exist to be degraded, and that's his birthright as a man. And again, a lot of this shit hinges on, like, preconceived ideas on, like, how people should behave. Because again, boys grow up hearing, like, oh, the girls are gonna love you, or, if she really cares, she'll do this. Like, just all the ways that, like, some women's mothers really do set them up for failure, because they really be thinking, like, oh, she gonna love me like my mom. Your mom loves you for free. Like, again, like, I mean, no shade when I say that. I'm just saying, like, like, some men don't realize how expensive it can be to love someone for free. It's so much. And again, like, it's like I be really trying to figure out, like, do I really love this man? Like, I really trying to figure it out? Like, I think I do. But then there's times where I'm just like, am I speaking up for myself enough? Am I saying no enough? Because that's the thing too. It's like, in relationship, I really love to say yes to my partner so bad. Like, I love to be the yes. And bitch, sometimes it's no. And sometimes it's no just because, bitch, it gotta be no for me. It gotta be a focus on me, actually. And just the way that we're not taught that. Just the ways I never really saw a woman be like, you know what, I'm not gonna focus on that man's desire. I didn't hear a lot of women say shit like that. I saw a lot of women just roll their eyes and sigh and then do the thing for the man, even though they did not want to. And when you don't want to do something for a man, the ways you be feeling bad, when it's like, bitch, don't even take a moment to think about all the things he not asking you about doing for you, and all the ways you be just so ready. But if I'm being super candid, I'm not there, bitch. I'm really not. I feel like Dane's been listening to my requests and really been holding space, and I really appreciate that. But at the same time, there's a part of me that really is just overwhelmed personally, because I think I told y'all, like, I've just had a lot of bad relationships experiences. Either I wasn't ready to be in a relationship, or they weren't ready, or we weren't ready, or I thought a relationship was this and they thought a relationship was that. Like, in retrospect, I really don't see any bad actors. I just see a lot of people thinking that they could do whatever they want to do and move however they want to move, and other moments where it's obvious that, like, we just need a little bit more. I feel like the only thing that worries me about me and Dane is that I feel like we both come from some super toxic family system. And I think we're both kind of like just being so nice to each other, which is really nice. I love it. But I do think that I still hurt his feelings early on when I rejected him and told him that I didn't want to be with him. And I still worry about like him still feeling like away, low key. Like there's a part of me that's like, is he really okay? Even though he say he cool, like there's still a part of me that's like, I wonder if he wonders about how committed I am. And to be super candid, I feel like I'm doing way less than I've ever done in any relationship. And I'm setting way more boundaries and I'm being way more vocal and I'm being like less afraid to like be left behind. It's like, man, if that man don't love me and all my no's and all my yeses, then fuck it. Because I know when to say no and I know when to say yes. And if that's a problem, I'm going to be okay. And again, I don't usually be feeling that. I'd be really worried in relationships that I'm going to lose that person. And in this, I'm kind of just like, if we're not supposed to be together, we going to figure that out. I'm not about to sit up here and worry too much. Because one thing about getting away from somebody, bitch, I feel like y'all done seen me do it a few times, bitch. I know how to do it at this point. And after that job shit, I'm just kind of like, if it's not supposed to be in my life, I pray it is removed. You feel me? I pray it is removed. Remove all blocks. You feel me? Remove all blocks. Because I don't want to be stuck in a life I'm not supposed to be a part of. Like, I'm really excited for my life to not be whatever the fuck it ain't supposed to be. I'm excited for me to be in the right timeline for myself. And I don't know if I am, to be honest. I don't know if I am. I feel like that's what's exciting about this time is like I'm not just saying, yeah, I'll just do whatever. Yeah, I'll just figure it out. Like, I'm not saying that shit. I'm like, who knows how I'll feel? I'm gonna check in with myself. You know what I mean? I'm proud of myself. I feel like it's just moments like this where I could just sit quietly with myself and just be grateful that I actually have turned a corner and I can see change within my behavior. And I think that is the best. But I'm also, a bleeding heart romantic. And I truly believe that community love about to win. But we're not gonna see it just yet. It's not gonna look like that just yet. We gotta have that moment where we're like, it's all lost. But bitch, there's nothing wrong with feeling like all is lost. Like there's really nothing wrong with feeling like that. I hope y'all look at the moon tonight. We got a full moon in Taurus coming, bitch. A full moon in stability, bitch. But the gag is that the moon and Uranus, woo! Uranus and the moon are right there next to each other. So there's a desire for stability, but we gotta switch it up. There's a desire for something more stable, but we can't do what we already did before. We have to do different things in order to achieve stability. And I love that because fuck. I feel like that's part of why we feel this dis-ease, this fucking weird feeling, this strangeness, because we don't know how to do something different yet, right? How exciting that we all get to be new, right? That's how I'm thinking about this full moon. It's a full moon in Taurus, and we're getting to learn how to make something more stable, but in a way that might actually be informed versus focused on pleasure. Because that's the thing about Taurus. Taurus wants stability, but he wants stability a very particular type of way. And Aquarius is like, bitch, we might not get what we need, but we gonna have to figure it out. We gonna have to think outside the box, bitch. Like, we have needs. We certainly have needs, but what can we be a little creative with? I really wonder how that looks. Man, I really wonder how everything looks. I really wonder. I say all this to say I appreciate folks for coming to kick it and unravel with me. It's been a weary ass few fucking days, but if we're being honest, The last 4 years have been fucking insane. And I say last four, but that's a lie. Like I think the years of fucking Donald Trump, bitch. I literally spent not the last, but the 4 years Donald Trump was in presidency. I spent those years video gaming and like not focused. I was homeless the entire time. Not the see, I'm not the homeless time, but not the entire time. But I was fucking going through housing insecurity for a lot of Donald Trump, and then not only that, but I feel like even Biden, bitch. Like Biden, the whole time Biden was in office, bitch, we damn near had the motherfucking pandemic. And you saw how quickly they shut down the earth, gave everybody money, made sure everybody was Gucci, bitch. They have the ability. They showed us for that first few months of COVID, they showed us that they could take care of us. They showed us that, didn't they? And so I have to remember that there's a way for us to all live through this. There's a way. And the state could help and they're not. And so we have to remember that the state could help and they're not. We have to remember that we are safer together than apart. And please, y'all, please do not retaliate against the Latino community. I know it seems like the thing to do. It's not. I promise you, it is not the thing to do. I know folks don't want to think about it, but getting folks deported is not going to bring any of us liberation. And if I'm being candid, folks being deported, if I'm being so fucking for real, I feel like before they get deported, they're being jailed. They're going to be enslaved. Let's be so fucking for real. You think they're going directly to their country, bitch? Yeah, right. I see America taking them as political prisoners. I see America taking them as forced labor. They're already using enslaved folk through the fucking state, because we must talk about state sanctioned enslavement, bitch, because that shit is motherfucking literally being imprisoned. Like, babe, the ways that people in prison are already being used. And we saw that on Orange is the New Black. Which means prison is the new business. And it always was. Let's be fucking for real, bitch. Like, chattel slavery just turned into the fucking prison industrial complex. Let's be fucking for real. Like, there's always been a desire to enslave people in this country, and they never stopped, and they don't have to now. And so trying to get folks deported is just going to put them in prison. It's going to make them work for all types of companies. And again, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but there was a news article that came out about a prisoner who was working, I want to say, for maybe a tissue company, and they had snuck a note in one of the tissue boxes basically being like, help me. I'm trapped. I can't stop, working at this factory. And there was a little bit of waves about it, but it was quieted very quickly because, again, don't nobody want anybody to care about people who are in prison? Don't nobody want that. Nobody wants that. And it's tragic because 9 times out of 10, bitch, the people that are in prison, bitch, this the way that the people that need to be in prison is out as fuck. Like, the people that have harmed children, free as hell. Like, what the fuck is a sex offender registry, bitch? What the fuck is a child predator registry? Sweetie, they should not be outside. What the fuck is you doing? Damn. I'm shook. And you know what else I be thinking about sometimes? I know Michael Vick got caught up with that dog fighting ring shit. But bitch, who were the white people that helped him, girl? Because it's the way that I only heard Michael Vick name. I know he wasn't the only one with the dogs, bitch. Like, I'm not trying to do too much. But it's like, babe, I want to hear some more names, girl. I feel like this Diddy shit been going on longer than the Epstein shit went on. And I felt like the Epstein shit felt very rushed. It's the way white people be getting grace even when they're motherfucking heinous fucking monsters. Like, it's the way white people don't really got to deal with, like, being dragged from the top to the bottom. My goodness. This is not me trying to be on some whataboutism shit. It's me just trying to offer that, like, when white people are uplifted in crime, it goes so quickly. They out the news so quickly. But let a black person get caught up in some shit. And I'm not saying that these criminals should not be uplifted. What I'm trying to offer though is that there's this desire to make it seem as if like, you know, these folks acted alone when they could not have. There is no way there were no white people involved with that dogfighting ring. I refuse to believe it, but I know that he was probably the bigger name, and so that's why he went down the most. But again, it's the way that I know somebody white was helping his ass, bitch. I know it. I know somebody white was helping get them dogs, bitch. And we never gonna hear about that motherfucker. We're never gonna hear about that shit. And I'm not saying we need to. I'm just trying to offer that. Again, like when a black person's in the news for something that they did that was fucked up, it's the way that people really want to like sit there and do a 40-minute expose on them every motherfucking day, every YouTube video. And it's like, whoa, I swear the Epstein shit came and went. It was barely a fucking blip. It was so bizarre. Like I'm saying, people be doing deep dives on so much shit, but the way that but it's almost like these hoes was paid, bitch, or told straight up, you're gonna be demonetized. Don't talk about this man. Wild times, bitch. Honestly, bitch, I really want them to take down this hair sign, but I know they're not going to. That's the thing that's funny as hell. They definitely not taking that hair sign down. My God. Fuck. This is about to be such a fucking crazy next 4 years. My God. My God, bitch. Anyways, I'm about to go get some work done, but I just wanted to check in and let folks know I'm still here, even though things are fucking wild. And I'm glad you're still here too, babe. It ain't down to you. Never was. Please don't feel like that. It's not on anybody black to be doing anything but focusing on joy and support. Just focus on that. Anything else, I'll tell them to leave you the fuck alone. That's really wild. That's very wild. But yeah, thank y'all for just hanging. Love you. Bye.